my family, which people didn't know about, was also incarcerated in a very anti-Semitic Japanese concentration camp. But somehow some German officers apparently have appeared in Indonesia and at the beginning of the war and indoctrinated the Japanese to treat those damn Jews a lot worse than the Dutch. Now my mother was French German, and I was of course not born under the heart of a Jewish mother, so in the Jewish law I'm nothing. I'm a father Jew. Whereas in Indonesia, if you have an Indonesian family member, they call you an Indonesian girl even if you only have 1/4 of Indonesian blood. But in the war, those rules didn't work. So my mother and I got imprisoned in one of those camps which had a big sign, Bangsa Yehudi. Bangsa means folk, Yehudi is Jewish folk. And the result, and my father was in another camp also with a Jewish folk sign on it. But you never see any pictures of those plates. And very few people know about it. My mother, that was the worst situation, smuggled one day for me, who was also almost dying of dysentery, because the food was so bad. I was 3 years old, towards the end of the war. She smuggled in a bag of sugar in exchange for a diamond ring. This is not a diamond ring that she had smuggled with her from her home before the war in her vagina, a suggestion of her girlfriend, and hidden under the sand. So in exchange for the diamond, which of course she cleaned up, she got this bag of sugar. However, in this camp, we were in the worst treatment of Sonei, who was the most vicious sadist ever in the Japanese camps. And so there were flashlights going on every few seconds. At the whistle of the Javanese boy, she threw over her diamond, he threw over the sugar, but instead of grabbing it, it fell about 2 meters away from her. So imagine the sound of the psh of the sugar going out, and her bending forwards to try and save whatever was to save. And then the Japanese came, and Sonai almost killed her. She was then put in a tin-roofed place where the dead bodies were thrown at. And she refused food for 3 weeks. She barely survived. So 6 weeks later, I, who didn't know where my mother was, and nobody was looking after me except a woman, Ankie, who now lives in Holland and became my friend and family of mine, she saved me by feeding me animal scraps of food, like peels of potatoes and peels of bananas, what actually the monkeys and the dogs survived on. But we have a very close tie now, and she's 82 and very, very vivacious, a survivor. So the two of us have become survivors. Now, I also noticed, I've been under psychiatric treatment for years, that when you are a war victim, which I think I was, sorry, I have had bronchitis, my voice is gone a bit, then you can either people become dominating, powerful people on their own, survivors, or they're submissive, what you call second-generation Jews or second-generation victims. Like a lot of men are like that, you know. And so I was a survivor, and I was dominating, and I was a powerhouse, and basically still have that in me. I'm lucky to have married a Jewish man who lost half his family in Germany, but he's also a second generation. I'm first generation, a survivor, and we're having luck, mazel tov, that we found each other. And but I wrote several chapters about this in my book, Child No More, because it did a lot to me. I had traumas till the age of 14, and well, it can be very up and down.